They should have them in bowling also. Bob Learn, 49 300 games. And he's still thinking about it here.
Well, he's trying to get the crowd on his side, and he's got him going. Now, just the opposite is a Mark Williams, who is very calm, collected, and relaxed, just gets up and does his job. You can see his eyes. Look at the concentration on his face. This is the most time I've ever seen him take.
Well, he got no strikes on that lane last game, but he starts right off with one this game. We see, that was the game before. That's game, match one, the Intramont struggling. Mark Williams zoned in, 255, 142.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him come up with another big game here. He feels fortunate to get by Duke, and he's rolling the ball well. Actually, the second half of that game against Norm Duke, he bowled extremely well. He left a good solid 10-pin, a 4-pin, and in between those strikes, he had the 6th, 8th, and the 2 and the 10th. It could have been 230. Instead, it was 190, but it's still enough to win.
193, 191, him the winner in match number 2.
Here's a striking machine, Bob Learn, 49 300 games for his credit.
Rolled out of the pocket,
Those pins are going to last a little longer if you hit them like that. Here's a good look at the style of Bob Learn. And watch him take his left hand away from the ball. He's carrying only with his right. Uses a lot of strength here. You can see he cups the ball with his wrist, just as much like Mark Williams. But he lets it go a little bit in the back right there. Not quite as strong on the forearm. And then as he comes through, he really rips hard on the ball. Look how he leans back into the shot, almost sits down, you might say. And that's really a detriment to accuracy to fall back on the shot like that, but he gets a lot of rotation on it. And if he can open up the lane, in other words, get the ball to come out to the right and come back, he can beat almost anybody because he can strike forever. Spare shooting again, hasn't been that tough. He's switching balls to go cross lane here. Throw it hard and straight. He won't throw a big hook at this one. How many times have we seen?
Another mistake.
That's number 8.
That's
single
number 8.
Spare. Here's a good look at his wife.
And Stacy's not happy with that. She kind of shakes her head with that. He says, it backed out.
Well, Norm Duke's wife, Karen, sitting at home watching, I'm sure wasn't real happy with the way Norm bowled either. So it's one of those days. It just happens like that sometimes.
Mark Williams wants to take advantage of it. Another ring and 10 on that right lane.
He's throwing the ball so well. It's just hard to imagine that he can't continue to throw strikes. I'm very impressed. Like I said, I talked to him before the match, before we went on the air, and he was so happy with the shot out there. He just felt that this fit his game. He could get out there and throw a lot of strikes.
Interesting as he converts the 10-pin, how one bowler will think the lanes are one way, and another bowler bowling on the same lanes doesn't find them that way.
Especially a player, getting back to Norm Duke, who I admire and respect very much. His bowling ability is just phenomenal. He can play most any shot. Why he would play on the edge of disaster, I'm amazed. I'd like to have the opportunity to speak with him after the match, see what his ideas were.
Now Mark Williams has got 4 flush shots, 3 strikes as he continues to pound lane 17. Bob Learn needs to regroup. Only trailing by 12 pins. We're in the 4th frame.
He's playing way inside here. Watch where he slides over by the channel.
Flush strike. Stacy and Brittany looking on.
Brittany's trying to stay awake.
She knows she's on TV, and I think she's a little embarrassed.
She's a little bashful?
A little bashful, yeah. To work. And be sure to join us Monday or Thursday. What am I saying? 7:30. It's the IAAF World Athletic Championships coming from Gothenburg, Sweden. Great track and field athletes. Many Olympic champions there, record holders. The 5th track and field championships. Trying for the double. Same hit he had in the 3rd frame. Well, he ought to make this 7th in a row.
Well, I bet he won't miss it on the right-hand side. He might miss it on the left side, but he won't miss it to the right. This ball will go right at it. Remember, there's a lot of oil in the middle of the lane. That makes the ball skid, and you just got to keep that in mind. And a lot of times the players, when they get prepared to go into this, they're practicing before they go in the air. They don't practice spare. They just practice strikes, throwing strikes. And so a lot of times they're surprised by ball reaction when they get out to shoot a spare.
Well, the graphic we just had on there, he has struggled on this pair lane. He only averaged 185 on it, which is not pro caliber.
Look at Mark. He's up there and ready. That's his normal way of getting up. He really got that one out there. That's the first time he's really gone around the side of the ball. He's been staying behind it. A lot of end over end for him, end over end roll. For the rest of us, it's turn. But for Mark Williams, that's end over end. This particular shot, he really got it out to the right and had a lot of side turn on. I wonder if he turned it at the end thinking it was coming off and he was losing it. Hang on. What a great shot. We're going to take another look at that release of Mark Williams, and the ball skidded out for him. Now watch at the bottom here. He really rotates around the side of this ball. You see his hand turning there? And then lifts up, and the ball went to the right and never had a chance to come back.
Interesting, too, because the way he shot the spare, he went with basically the straight shot and didn't let it hook, you know. So exact opposite hand release on the spare. Converts the spare, though. Nothing lost. Back on lane 17, where he just never misses. He gets the finish over there, too, Earl. Mark Williams, we'll take another look at this flush strike on lane 17. He's having no trouble with that one. He leads in this match right now by 12 pins. Earl and I will be back with the completion of our semifinal match after this. And Bob Learn is over doing something. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, he is
little billboard problem there.
Oh, I see. It was falling off.
Yeah, he's falling apart out there.
Well, he's only down 12 pins. We got half a game to go. On lane 18, where he's had 3 consecutive strikes. Tries for number 4. Leaves the 10 pin.
Now, watching the guys practice again, we keep referring to this because it's a very important part of the tournament. The players preparing to go on the air. They get an hour to practice before airtime, before we start the tournament. The matches on television that you're watching at home. Watching Bob Learn, he had the most trouble of any of the 5 players. He just couldn't seem to get lined up to the pocket. And now he's lined up to the pocket, but he can't strike.
You know, Bob has 49 300 games. I asked him, what's the secret of bowling 300?
Try not to think about it. Basically, when you get in the 10th frame, you can't really think about what you're doing. The more you think about it, the more you start thinking. So I try not to think about anything when I'm up there.
Does that tell me he's just a feel instinct player? Is that it?
How can you not think about anything? I always thought this game was a mental game.
Well, I guess we're all different, huh?
I guess we are.
Love taps to 10 and gets something going on lane 17, trailing by 13 pins.
Take another look at that shot. Watch what happens. The love tap that Mike Durbin's talking about here. See the 6 pin go into the channel. Just enough.
Finally gets lane 18.
Little different shot there. Much different angle of attack into the pocket. A lot of end over end roll. Looked like he moved to the right a little bit on that shot. Pretty big gamble right now.
Well, he goes up by 23, going to his good lane that he has not missed this game yet, lane 17. For 3 in a row. Perfect. He's ready. I'll tell you what. I think he smells it, Earl.
Well, he's definitely due. He's had problems, as we talked about, winning matches, and just can't seem to get it going. Now he seems to have that line that nobody else has. He has a shot working for him, and he's very comfortable on the lanes. Bob Learn getting a re-rack. Now he's up, ready to go. Bob seems a little bit confused out there.
He's got a strike here, Earl.
Well, he's running out of frames, and Mark Williams not letting up. 10 pin, and that's just the entry angle. The ball coming in behind the head pin. You can see the look of disappointment by his wife, and obviously this is a tough way to make a living, folks, throwing a bowling ball, and when you get the opportunity to get that big check, you want to take advantage of it.
Interesting, too, because these two guys bowled in the position round last night, and if Mark Williams would have struck out in the 10th frame as Bob converts the 10 pin, Bob wouldn't have made the telecast. It was that close. If he'd have got another strike in the 10th frame, Mark Williams, and then 8 pins, Learn would have missed the telecast, and Mark Williams would have qualified second. He didn't get the strike, and Bob qualified second, and Mark Williams went all the way down to 5th.
You want to explain all that again?
Well, it was an exciting position. Got lane 17, but it may be too little too late. Mark Williams flipping right along at a 229 pace right now. Just needs a couple of marks to lock this up. 33 pins ahead.
216 possible for Bob Learn Jr. Mark Williams going, as you mentioned, at that 229 pace. Still needs to get the marks, has to stay clean, and this has been the lane that's given him the most problems right here, lane 18.
Well, a little baby walnut right there.
What? What'd you call that, Mike?
I called it a little baby walnut, a wall shot there.
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, I remember Roy Buckley calling that when you carried the wall shot, you earned your first million in Toledo. So you probably forgotten all about that.
I never saw that first one. Mark Williams looks like the dominant player today. He said he liked the shot, and he's showing you why right now. Just strike after strike. He is the player. 255 in his first game. Norm Duke gave him the opportunity to win, and he took advantage of it in the second game, and here he is coming back with a huge possible 259 game here against Bob Learn Jr.
It's going to be 250 something, and you predicted that at the beginning of this match. You said that he might just click right in for another big game.
Well, it was an emotional, uplifting effort for him because Norm Duke gave him that second match. Norm Duke had moved in. I think he would have had a lot tougher time with it. Got him ready for this match. Bob Learn had more than he can handle here.
259. What do you have, 10 strikes? Wow. Solid 10, and he missed a headpin one time. Bob Learn finish out with 216.
Bowling for pride now, and that finally carries the 10 pin. That doesn't always happen. When it doesn't matter anymore, you carry.
Well, what impresses me is he's out there trying just as hard on this shot as he was earlier in the game, and it doesn't mean anything.
Well, he's a classy guy. You know, he works hard at the game. He spends a lot of hours rolling a bowling ball, getting himself ready. He's in good shape. This is a very strenuous way of bowling, the way he bowls. He's not a big man, so he uses everything he has to get all he can on a bowling ball.
Wow. Same hit that seemed like was leaving the weak 10 earlier suddenly explodes him out of there. He's going to finish with 216 with one more strike.
That was a good shot of Bob Learn going to the foul, and you could see how much effort he puts into every shot. It's amazing that a guy like this can bowl 150 to 200 games a week, putting that much effort in throwing that 16-pound ball down the lane.
Well, finishes off with a solid 10, 215. Nice performance by Bob Learn, but not enough to beat Mark Williams right now. He wins 259.